Hey, World Cruisers, it's Monday, August 12th, 2024. We're on the Ultimate World Cruise, and we are just arriving in Oslo, Norway. This is the sail-in, and it's another beautiful one. I have to tell you that along this channel, there's a significant historical event that happened in the sail-in. In the early months of 1940, the Germans started an invasion of Norway, and there was a guy manning this. There's a gun emplacement out here on one of these little islands, and he sunk the German boat in the middle of the night that was coming in with no lights and full of a couple thousand soldiers that were intent on going in and attacking the royal family and taking over Norway. He sunk the ship and gave the Norwegians some time to get the royal families out of the country. Some went to Britain, some went to the United States until the war was over. So it preserved the royal family. So here we are off the ship. You can see Serenade of the Seas in the background there. And Oslo is an absolutely beautiful city, and we hit it on an incredibly stellar day. No, not a cloud in the sky, shirt sleeve weather. The guide said it was a gem of a day that they don't get very many of in Oslo. But anyway, they have this beautiful promenade that runs all along the harbor for miles that you can walk along. And again, like Stockholm and Copenhagen, beautiful apartment buildings and houses. It's an architectural gem, and you're going to see some amazing architecture in some of the concert halls and the libraries and the palaces here. It's just amazing. So walking along this promenade, we come to the anchor of that German boat that was sunk by the Norwegian Navy in the early months of 1940 when the Germans tried to invade. So that's a permanent reminder that the guy who fired 2 cannon shots and 2 torpedoes at the German ship is a national hero. Here we are. This is City Hall, those 2 towers there, and all the scaffold. They're renovating the outside of the structure, which was built, I don't know, back in the 30s, I think. It was a long time ago, but it's beautiful. There's something significant about that City Hall that I'll show you in a minute. This is they don't like to call it a museum, but it's the Nobel Peace Prize Museum is what it is. And I didn't know this, but Norway awards the Peace Prize, and Stockholm awards all the other ones for physics and art and literature. This is an overview that we went to next. It's a beautiful town of Oslo. That mountain range out there, there's actually you can go skiing there in the wintertime. There's a ski lift. And this area that you see, those 2 little towers kind of off to the right, that's the vent for the tunnel system that runs under the city for the cars. They keep the traffic out of the city. If you're going to go through it, you go under that tunnel. And they used all the fill from that tunnel to build that little island over on the right that has the little harbor there. So it's beautiful. Those apartment buildings are all built on that new island from the tailings from the tunnel digging. And out on that panorama point is this totally weird piece of modern art. I have no idea what that thing is. It's inside of a stainless steel small building that you can go inside and walk around in. It has that real skinny door. Looking out that door, you're looking out the panorama that we just saw a minute ago of the city of Oslo. I don't know if you can figure out what that thing is. And the city's named the Tiger City because they used to tell immigrant workers there was a tiger to scare them, to keep them out of certain areas. So somehow the city got its nickname of the Tiger City. And this monument here on the promenade is a monument to commemorate all the Norwegian rail workers who were part of the resistance during the war, who kept destroying the railroad tracks so the Germans couldn't ship stuff. And that's a commemoration for them. And I guess they like snails in Oslo. So now we're going to go look at the concert hall, the opera house, and the library. And these little platforms along the water here are saunas. You can take them out and tow them in the harbor and have a sauna. They're all loaded with wood, and so you can jump in the water and then jump in the sauna. This is the opera house concert hall. Beautiful architecture. They had a contest for designing this and the National Library, which is the white building over on the left with that overhang. That's the National Library. And then behind it are what they call the barcode buildings. All of those were also designed by architects through a competition. But that's one of the most beautiful concert halls in the world, right up there with Sydney, I think. And we didn't walk over there. We grabbed something to eat in this little shop there, little restaurant. And then this is the downtown area that has the Parliament building. That round structure on your right is the Parliament building. They have 7 political parties. The one that gets the most votes gets the Prime Minister. The one that gets second most votes gets to appoint the Foreign Minister or Secretary of State. Then they built this promenade street between the Parliament building, and that's the Royal Hotel, that white building there. And then we're going to look down the street to see the Royal Palace. Way down at the end down there, the Royal Palace. So you can just walk from the palace down to the Parliament building and the Royal Hotel. And about halfway down that street is Oslo University, which you're looking at here. And they were having, I think, the graduation ceremony today. They were just getting ready for it as we were walking through, and I think they had some speeches from the royal family and whatnot. This is the Royal Palace at the end of that street, and they are getting ready for a concert, an outdoor concert here. So that's what the barricades in that dirt area is, where they set up for the concert. But that's the Royal Palace. And this is the National Theatre. They have actually 2 languages in Norway. There's 2 different dialects, and they're only allowed to put plays on for one of those dialects in that National Theatre. There's another theater for the other dialect. And this is the entrance to the City Hall that I showed you the back of earlier. That gold statue up on top is the Oslo girl. And the reason this is significant is because this is where every time they award the Nobel Peace Prize from Norway, they award it from this hall right here. It's the main hall between those 2 structures. With some beautiful artwork in here. That artwork up on the upper left there tells the story, kind of the history of Norway, which closely tied to Denmark and Sweden. They've been alternately ruled by Denmark and Swedish kings from Denmark and Sweden over the years. So I think it was 1905 when since 1905 they've been ruled independently by their own monarchy. Their system of government otherwise is patterned after the United States in terms of the Constitution and branches of government. So now our last stop for the day was this sculpture park, which they say everybody that comes to Oslo has to come here. The sculptor's name was Gustav Vigeland, and during the war, he's famous for working in bronze. He cast bronze statues. I don't know how anybody in their lifetime could have made as many bronze statues as he designed and cast in this sculpture park. Everything you see here was done by Vigeland and his team, and a lot of it was done during the war, just before the war, in the 40s. But every one of these statues is, depicting people in various activities. Some funny, some serious, uh, but every one of them is buck naked. And it's ironic that at the entrance to the park, there's a statue of Vigeland himself, who I think died in 1947, and he's fully clothed in his lab coat with his chisel. Because he also, besides the bronze statues you see here, at the end of this promenade, there's a monolith, and it took 3 years to make it. They put the monolith in place and then carved it while it was upright. And it took 3 sculptors, one from Denmark, one from Sweden, and one from Norway, 3 years to carve that. And it is a mass of humans doing various things. I don't know, they're all kind of holding on to each other so they don't fall over. But that thing was carved in place over a period of 3 years. And there's many other statues around the circumference of this monolith that are also people, babies, adults, doing all sorts of things. And I guess the locals call this the Naked Statue Garden, but it's a beautiful garden, very well maintained. Flowers are gorgeous, rose gardens, just really a pleasant place to walk on such a beautiful day. You can see there's not a cloud in the sky, which is a rarity for Oslo. But we're going to walk past the other side of the street where all the bronzes are, and that fountain up ahead of you is an incredible bronze casting. I don't know how he did it. Supposedly the base and the men holding up the bowl were all cast in one piece. The bowl was cast and then set on top and attached. But all these small statues around the outside they tell a story. And I didn't stick with the guide to understand the story, but they're people in trees. Each one of those lumps on top is supposed to be a tree. Look at that huge statue of those men holding up that fountain. It's the world's largest bird bath. And the detail on these bronze castings is just amazing. So to finish up Oslo here, we're going to walk along the other side of the main street that has the bronze casting set up on the rail. When we came in, we went down the other side, and now we're going down this side. You can see each one is all different humans doing various activities. I didn't catch the name of that river that goes through there. And at the end of this bridge over on the right-hand side, there's a really nice cafe that the guide made sure we stopped at. They make a cinnamon roll that's, she claims, better than Cinnabon. It's light and it's got cinnamon and some other spices in it. And it was delicious. With blueberry soda we had. First time I've ever had a blueberry soda. Anyway, stay tuned for Kristiansand, Norway tomorrow. We're going to go down to the southern tip of Norway, and we'll have more adventures for you to see tomorrow.